Hey everybody, welcome to Culinary Characters Unlocked. I'm David Page. On this episode, a chef who went from a small Alabama town to the U.S. Navy to prison to the top of the culinary scene in what's become a major food city, Nashville, and who competed on Chopped and won. Here's Star Maye. Chef, how you doing? Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing amazing, having a great day.
That's wonderful. How are things in Nashville today?
Nashville is awesome, growing day by day.
It's kind of become the hot food center of the South all of a sudden, hasn't it?
It just happened. I've been here about 15 years now, and over those 15 years, a lot of things have happened.
That's for darn sure. And you've done really, really well. But reading about your life and your culinary path, it appears to me you had a hell of a tough time getting to that success. How tough was it?
It was very hard, David. I never thought now in this person and place that I'm at that I will ever get here, because the difficulty of it was just, I'm just like, come on, it's gotta be something. Moment by moment, things change. And luckily I got into the Nashville scene right before everything started to pop, and was able to make a really good name for myself after being in the industry almost 20 years.
And feeling invisible at that point, according to what I've read.
And feeling invisible at the same time. Exactly.
You've self-described as a Black queer single mother. Obviously, you're a woman. Did all of that work against you? Did some of that work against you? What?
I would definitely say all of those things had some getting over, right? People love labels. And unfortunately for me, the labels that were put upon me weren't great things. So all of it felt like having to keep coming back over and over. I got to jump this hurdle. Okay. Now everybody's okay to have this lesbian lady working in the kitchen with them. Then I'm in the South. So being a Black woman, lesbian, single mom is like, could I have picked a harder path to take?
If it isn't this, it's that. But you talk about being in the South. You grew up in the South. Where were you born?
I was born in a small town called Repton, Alabama.
Where is that?
Literally the middle of nowhere. I dare to fight that it's 300 people that live there now. So it's a very small town in the county of Conecuh. If you've ever heard of the famous Southern sausage, Conecuh sausage, that's where I'm from, born and raised.
What part of the state is that in?
It's South Alabama. I'm about probably an hour and 20 to 30 minutes from Mobile.
I've had some great food in Mobile.
Yeah, Mobile also have a lot to offer.
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people, when you think about Alabama, they don't think about seafood. Somehow they forget Alabama's on the Gulf also.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, what part did food play in family life?
In my family, food was everything. My grandfather was a farmer. I tell people all the time, when I was a kid, I didn't realize they sold meat in stores until I was probably double digits in age. Family and food for me is the same thing. It's bringing everything together. We have food for birthdays. We have food for funerals. We have food for weddings. We have food on Sundays. So it was always a family gathering around food, regardless if it was a good or it was bad. My grandmother never believed anybody should be hungry. If you were passing through and you wanted something to eat and she had something in there, you can eat it.
Is she the one you learned to cook from?
Well, lucky for me, my mom and my dad were married for almost 50 years. My grandmother's one lived almost 90 and the other passed at 93. So my grandmother, Ellen, my mom's mom, was a very, very good baker. She baked wedding cakes, all these elaborate cakes. And my dad's mom was from more humble beginning. So we learned how to use all the scraps from vegetables, all the different scraps and parts and cuts of meat. So
what did you do with vegetable scraps?
My grandmother, she would make a vegetable stock, to be able to cook the veggies in. And she would take that vegetable stock and actually blanch our vegetables that we use through the winter. My grandfather didn't let any of his children be hungry through the wintertime. So we would have big family blanching. We're shucking peas and beans and we're blanching, we're freezing to pass throughout the family for the wintertime so nobody went hungry through the winter. We also did the same thing with pork and beef and any kind of wild game that we call, which is also big in the South.
What kind of wild game?
hogs, gopher turtles. I know people love turtles these days, but growing up, that was a delicacy for us. Eating squirrels was a delicacy.
That's interesting. I live on the Jersey Shore, and my wife and I are planning a trip to Philadelphia to eat in the near future with some friends. And my wife said, you know what I haven't had in years that's a Philadelphia special? I want turtle soup. Did you make turtle soup at home?
Yeah, we did. It was more like a stew, a little bit more hearty with potatoes and carrots and celery. When you got a lot of mouths to feed, it goes a long way.
Absolutely. And I read that you talked about standing on a stool to make grits with your grandma.
Oh, yeah. My grandma had me cooking from such a young age. I may have been 5 the first time I ever made grits. I tell people now, I want to meet people who've never had them, so I can be your first.
Yeah, okay. So I've lived in the South. I get it. But explain, what's the deal with grits to people up north who don't get it? What the hell makes them so good?
I tell people, that butter, you got to put the butter in them. You got to have that butter.
Okay, so the grits are basically a flavor delivery system.
It is a flavor delivery. It is a vessel, and you have to give it and allow the time for it to open up and give you all of that starchy goodness that comes along with it.
I love that starchy goodness.
Yes, it's good.
So, okay, you grow up in this small town.
Mm-hmm.
What was your path after high school? What'd you do?
After high school, I went to the Navy. So I'm a Navy girl.
Okay, this is, I guess, gender stereotypical. Most people, the first thing they think of, a young woman coming out of Southern Alabama. Why the Navy? Why'd you make that choice?
I always knew I was bigger than that small town. And I knew I wanted my life to be big. Having a name like Star, it kind of leads you to it. You know, it's got to be bigger than the average. And I knew I was bigger than that little small town. And I wanted to see all of the world because I knew it was more things in that world than this 300 people town that I live in. And I wanted to see as much as I could. And to be able to do that, the Navy provides a really good vessel for you to be able to get out and explore the world, see different cultures, understand new things.
Where did you go? Where were you? Were you on board ship? Were you at a base?
I was in Virginia on the USS Cole. And then I left there and went to San Diego on the USS Lassen. And I had some shore duty in between there, different various bases between here and there, Japan. I had a wonderful time. The Navy was great. It did for me exactly what I needed it to do.
Is that where you started cooking professionally?
You know what? I never knew that cooking professionally was going to be my thing. My friends will always be like, Star, this is so good. I love when you cook for us. It kind of was my start into understanding that what I did, people enjoyed.
I misunderstood reading your bio. I thought maybe that was your specialty in the name. In fact, you were just cooking for friends?
Yeah.
At that point?
Yeah, at that point, I was just cooking for friends. In the Navy, you don't have a lot of opportunities to get home-cooked meals. So I guess I would provide those meals for the other sailors, you know, like they want to feel like that hominess. So a good fried chicken, a macaroni and cheese, some sweet potatoes, collard greens on a Sunday kind of brought everybody together, made them feel good. We were kids kind of away from our families. And I didn't realize that I had a talent for cooking until then. After I got out of the Navy is when I really started to hone in. And I'm like, okay, I'm really going to do this. I'm going to do it for real.
And we'll be right back.
We mentioned you've had a tough time.
Yeah.
And you've talked about this. Your return to civilian life was pretty rocky, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was pretty rough.
You ended up incarcerated, right?
Yes, I did not adjust to civilian life as I thought I would. So, yeah, I ended up making quite a few mistakes in those earlier years. And I did. I got incarcerated for a number of years.
For what?
I got to sit away for dealing drugs. It's bad now. But then I'm like, I got to figure out a way to be able to make money. I got to make ends meet. I'm a single mom trying to figure it out and, you know, just fell in with the wrong crowd, which happens, especially when you're getting out. At that time, I didn't realize that there were also mental health things that go along with that. You know, you leave this foundation where everybody thinks like you, everybody moves like you, everything is the same kind of structure until moving out in the world and you just got to figure it out on your own. It kind of does take a toll on you mentally and you don't really understand what's going on. My mom felt like it was the worst mistake ever, but I'm like, no, I can recover from this. I can understand that who and what I surround myself with is just as important as everything else.
So you were incarcerated for 3 years. Once you get out, did you instantly say, I should start cooking? Were you thinking about this while you were doing time?
Yeah. While I was doing time, actually, Interesting story. One of my officers that I had on one of the ships that I was on actually had retired from Jacksonville, because this happened in Florida. He retired from Jacksonville, and I saw him one day while I was walking around in the prison. He was the executive chef for the prison.
Oh my gosh.
So he saw me, he took me underneath his wing and basically had me run in the kitchen. So when I got out, I'm like, okay. And he would tell me how good I was, how quickly I was able to put things out, how I was able to explain to people what needed to be done. I fought different types of language barriers, all different types of things in the kitchen to be able to produce meals for these 2,300 ladies every week. He was like, when you get out, I really want you to focus on it. He was like, I really think that this could be the thing for you. So when I got out, I took that time to try to get a job. After 203 applications and 17 interviews, someone finally gave me a chance.
More than 200 applications?
203 applications, 17 interviews out of that only.
How did you not just get frustrated and say to hell with it?
Because it was something I really wanted to do. Everybody I keep coming in contact with keeps telling me, your food blessed me today. I needed that snack. I needed whatever you gave to me. Those people are the people who kept pushing me. Even when I didn't have it, it's like somebody else would step in and be like, hey, what you made today was really good. And I would do it again. So basically, I just started selling little plates in my neighborhood. That is how I was able to support myself, is selling plates of dinner food to construction workers, nurses in hospitals, whoever would buy a plate from me. I would pack them in a hot box and I would drive around town, barbershops, wherever I could go, selling these plates.
Where were you at this point?
I was in Pensacola, Florida.
Wow. Now, tell me if this story is, I read that you did get frustrated enough to say to hell with it and you moved to Nashville to attend school for, you were going to go into what, aircraft maintenance?
Yeah. Yeah. So I finally get that job. So I get the job.
Well, but hold on. You got that job in Nashville?
No. We still in Pensacola, Florida. So that's when I was getting out. I had all those interviews, but somebody finally gave me a chance to have a job. So he gave me the job. I just came in as a regular cook. Within probably a month, I was running the kitchen. He saw how good I was, so his corporate chef took me under his wing. And before it was over, I was helping them run 5 different restaurants, doing all the orders, doing all the scheduling, doing everything. So basically, that organization restructured and I lost my position. So after that, I was like, you know what? I'm done with food. I'm not doing that no more. I'm going to go do something else. So I leave Florida and I moved to Nashville to be an aircraft mechanic.
You were going to go to school to be an aircraft mechanic?
I went to school to be an aircraft mechanic.
You're not an aircraft mechanic, so what the hell happened?
I went through the program, went to do everything, was going great, and I landed an amazing job as a chef at a country club.
How? What happened? I mean, did you just out of the blue, somebody came and said, hey, you?
Yeah. Yes. A guy who went to school with me was like, my friend really needs someone who got some cooking skills to come and work part-time at a country club.
But how did this guy even know you had cooking skills? Were you bringing lunch in?
Because I like to feed people. That's always been a thing. I've always had a little bit of notoriety in it when I would do it. Even when I was in Pensacola, I was on TV, the local news stations, little stuff. Like you could kind of track and see that that's what I've been doing. And that I was kind of good at it. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, I hear you talk about cooking all the time. He needs somebody to come work part-time some nights and the weekends. And I'm like, sure, that sounds great.
At a country club?
At a country club. So I was like, oh, that should be really easy. I was going to school, so I needed a little something to kind of supplement the income of going to school. So I took the job and I just fell back in love with cooking all over again.
What kind of food were you cooking there?
It was fine dining, but the beautiful part is that we got to be very creative. That was the first time, because in Florida, it was more like beach food. Great burgers, wings, hand-cut fries, stuff like that. But this is the first time I really got to take the creativity of cooking, make that plate my palate, and create beautiful dishes.
You had no real culinary education, so were you just figuring this out as you went?
Yeah, I tell people I'm a fake it to make it girl. If I see you do it once, I can do it.
Well, were you just observing the executive chef at the country club? And
I observed what he did, how he put dishes together. And by this time, so I started watching a lot of culinary TV shows. This is like 2019-ish, 2018, 2019. And now he trusts me to make these beautiful dishes on the weekend because I've taken the time. I'm going through cookbooks, things I've seen. I'm going to food shows. I'm putting in all the work in this craft.
what were some of the creative dishes you were coming up with?
Oh, yeah. I love country clubs because they don't really care about budget. Their food cost budget is quite large. When you got a 30% or 35% food budget, you can do a lot more things with it. The first time I ever cooked Wagyu was at the country club. I got to cook beautiful Chilean sea bass. I got to cook branzino. I got to cook all of these beautiful different fishes and steak cuts that I didn't really grow up eating. I learned about all different types of vegetables. Growing up in the South, we don't have parsnips. There's certain vegetables that we are not privy to. I tell people I was probably almost 30 before I found a way I like Brussels sprouts.
Oh, a little butter and balsamic, you're fine. Plus, tell me if this is an unfair culinary stereotype. I lived in the South. I've been to my share of meat and freeze. Why the hell do so many Southern cooks just cook the crap out of vegetables?
You know what? I tell people that is a real thing in the South. But because I grew up on a farm, my grandmother taught us to leave the crunch because that's the healthy part. Once you lose the crunch, you lose all the nutrients.
Yeah, so how come Southern vegetable cooking is mush?
It derives really from slave times because they were given such harsh, horrible cuts of vegetables and meat. Sometimes it was rotten. Sometimes it wasn't the best. They decided they would just cook it as long as they could.
It's kind of blind of me not to consider that. So much of Southern cooking came out of enslaved people who had to figure out what to do with stuff with
what they were given.
Yeah.
So sometimes it wasn't the best. And so they figured I'm going to cook the hell out of it.
Back in a moment. Okay, so you're working part-time at this country club, and you're still going to aircraft mechanic school. So I'm sorry, Boeing,
I didn't make it.
What happened next? How'd you end up full-time as a chef?
That job offered me an amazing position to come over full-time.
What was the name of the country club?
The Governor's Club in Brentwood, Tennessee.
Okay, so you went there full-time?
Yep, I went to the Governor's Club full-time. I still got my license.
Oh, so you could fix an airplane if we needed it?
If we needed it. If we crashed and we needed to put it together, I could probably figure it out.
Okay.
Needless to say, that was a waste of money because I haven't fixed one plane.
So you work at the Governor's Club full-time as a line cook?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you moved on to some other places in town?
When I left the Governor's Club, I left there because I took a banquet sous chef position at the city winery.
Sous chef being a management job.
Yeah, so that was my very first management job.
And how was it moving into management?
It's not very hard for me in management because I understand the different roles since I started from the bottom and worked my way up. So I had a real understanding of each position and what those people were supposed to do. So I just made sure I really focused on the things I was supposed to do. And it took me all the way back to when I was in prison. And he taught me how to make schedules. He taught me how to do inventory. He taught me how to read a P&L.
This is the former officer from the Navy.
Yes.
Are you guys still in touch?
Yes. I have a hard time letting people go throughout my life, especially the ones who have helped me to be able to catapult through such difficult times. It's hard to let those people go. In 2020, COVID hit City Winery. We were one of the first places to close in Nashville. Then I was unessential. I was like, now I should be an aircraft mechanic. But luckily, I had some awesome times.
What happened next?
Well, it was awesome times through COVID. I know it was a horrible time, but it was also an awesome time at the same time. I tell people this is why. People got to find things out about themselves they had forgotten or didn't know. People found new hobbies. People found how to communicate differently. People learned how they're crafty. They didn't know they were crafty. They didn't know all these things. I helped a couple people restructure their businesses during COVID because it was such a hard hit that people couldn't come in. So I had a couple of really good friends who had restaurants. I went to help them build a to-go program program. As soon as COVID hit, I went and got a COVID certification. That's the very first thing that I did. ServSafe was offering a COVID certification. So I went in and learned everything I could about COVID. I took the certification test. I passed the test. And then I went to go help my friends and teach them what we needed to look for and how we could restructure their businesses for them to be able to be profitable during such a difficult time.
These were restaurants?
I was probably one of the first people to going out teaching people like, hey, you can make everything to go and contactless, but they're going to have to order it first. So they got better online systems. People were able to order. At my friend's place in New Orleans, we call it pop the trunk. So you just open your trunk. We'll put all of your items in your trunk. You close it and go. You come up to the window, you give me your number, we put the stuff in your trunk, and you can go contactless. That was the first thing we're like, okay, I might have a little head for business too, you know? And then right after COVID, I got the biggest opportunity ever.
Which was?
I met Marcy Van Maal Allen. She is a large woman in the music industry. She does amazing things every day. And she had a little coffee shop. It was a little coffee CBD kind of shop. They sold like little sandwiches and stuff. It was cute. But they weren't supposed to be selling food during COVID. So their landlord kicked them out. So she had to find a new space. So when she found this new space, she opened a little place with her little coffee shop, her little sandwiches. But she was like, this is a lot of space. I'm going to need more than that. And so she gave me the opportunity for the first time to be an executive chef, to create the menu, to hire the staff, to do everything. Because she said, I'm a music person. I'm not a food person, and I don't know how to work it. She was like, so if you think you can do it, I'm behind you 100%. And she gave me the opportunity to be able to own ANZIE Blue.
ANZIE Blue was the name of the place?
That was the name of our restaurant, yeah.
Any meaning to that?
Yeah, it was actually 2 dogs, ANZIE and Blue.
Our dogs? Okay.
Yeah.
So you have this opportunity, which I've read that you were convinced you'd never get this shot.
Oh, yeah. I never thought someone would trust me to run my own place. And I get to come up with all the dishes. I get to come up with how everything looks, all the plates it's on. I get to decide everything. I never thought I would get this opportunity.
So what'd you do? She says, okay, you're in charge.
I got Best Brunch 3 years in a row.
Best Brunch in Nashville 3 years in a row?
Best Brunch in Nashville 3 years in a row. Thrillist, Open Table. Everybody was after me. Forbes, Washington Post.
So I come for brunch. What do I get?
Well, my number one appetizer was I did a deviled egg flight.
A flight of deviled eggs?
5 different flavors.
What are the 5 flavors?
We would change the flavors we had 3 staples. The classic, and then the cheddar bacon, and then sour cream and onion.
I'm in for cheddar bacon right off the bat.
And it was candy bacon that we made in-house.
Oh.
Those were the 3 staples that were always there, but we would change the other 2 every other month or so.
Like what? What other kinds were you making?
I remember we did one for Taco Tuesday one time. It was like avocado inside. We did one on a take on a caprese with the mozzarella incorporated into the mix. I got to do creative things. And I think that probably my most popular thing there was a sandwich I invented for Elvis, which I have him on today.
For those listening, not watching, she's got a T-shirt with Elvis Presley's face on the front of it. Okay, so what was this? Let me guess. This sandwich there must have been peanut butter in it.
Elvis's favorite snack, peanut butter, banana, and bacon. And I would take it and deep fry it in a beignet batter.
Oh.
And top it with a berry compote. So it was like a very upscale adult peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Did that just come to you in the middle of the night or what?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was like my take on a Monte Cristo, but, it's Elvis's style. It's called the King. It was so popular of a sandwich that A&E did a show called Deliciously Twisted Classics, and they came and filmed a segment about this sandwich. That's how popular it was.
We're going to talk about you on TV in a minute. I just want to know, I'm looking at a write-up of what you were doing here. You did chicken and waffles, shrimp and grits.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the secret to your chicken and waffles?
I think that what made that terrific is people hadn't had chicken how I make it.
How do you make it?
Number 1, the secret is use the best cut. Get the tenderloin. It matters. The chicken tender, it matters. Then to try to cut it from breast. If you get the chicken tenderloin, to me, it feels like dark meat. I would marinate that in a wet batter, just flour and water, and lots of seasoning. And then it just goes from that wet dredge to the dry and to the grease. 350. It's gotta be 350. It won't be crunchy on the outside and juicy on the inside. So that chicken, nobody could ever fight it. And then we did shareables. I had breakfast boards. Like you could come in and get a board for 3 to 4 people at a reasonable price.
What would be on that board for 3 or 4 people?
Oh, yeah. You get bacon, you get sausage, you got biscuit, you got a little bit of chicken, you get a little waffles, little pancakes. So it was just like a full little meal. You got a couple of different type of flavored syrups because we made syrups in-house. So I made a sweet potato syrup. They get the sweet potato syrup. They would get like a couple of different types of jams and butters on a board, and they just take it out to the table and everybody just can eat at their leisure.
There wouldn't be a lot of leisure. I'd be moving as fast as I could. There's competition when there's a bunch of people going for that same board. Now, you mentioned being on TV. How'd you get on Chopped?
Persistence.
You were chasing it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is when you were working at ANZIE Blue?
When I was working at ANZIE Blue, between me and my business partner, Marcy, they didn't have a chance but to let me on. But I just kept fighting for it. And I think from where was so hard for me in the beginning, being a Black, gay, single mom, chef, those things was very hard in the beginning. But then I was starting to feel like those were things that started to separate me from the others as I got to move along. So now it's like Pride Month and Black History Month and all of the military holidays and all the stuff. So now it's like they like to fill these roles of certain things.
Is that one of the things that got you on Chopped?
Yes. And at that time in Nashville, I was the only Black woman executive chef. I was the only one. It was only me. So that was a little difficult. And then it's a very popular place too. So to be BIPOC there for a little while was kind of crazy. So they would see that. They would hear that and I'm like, oh, we're going to jump on that. And she's got a pretty good personality to go along with it, you know?
You think?
Oh, yeah.
You get on Chopped. What was it like? How was the experience?
The experience was wonderful. I had a great time. I enjoyed meeting all the other chefs. By this point, my career has been kind of guarded, you know? I haven't worked with a lot of like named chefs or nothing like that. People who just took an interest and focused and helped me grow. That's it. So now if I'm here, that means all the people who are here with me are at least at my level or better. So it was nice to be around other chefs who view food differently from me. So I enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, but you kicked their tails. You won.
I did. It was a Southern cook-off. Like, it's called Mouth of the South. So I'm like, if you're going to be a Mouth of the South, you got to put the South up, you know?
What did you win with? What did you make that got you the championship?
I think it was my care and love of the vegetables. I think that I handled my vegetables a little differently than everybody else may have handled their vegetables. I really tried to think outside the box.
How?
Back to what my grandma says, once you lose the crunch, you lose all the nutrients. So I just tried to stay really close to that. They gave me corn on the cob. I'm like, that's perfect. Make a wonderful little succotash with that. They gave me vegan fried chicken. I took that vegan fried chicken and turned it into a batter for shrimp. So I think it was just my ability to think outside of the box to create the dishes. No dish that they gave me looked like what they gave me.
You had all these doubts about ever making it. Now you're cooking at a wildly popular place in Nashville. You've won this national televised competition. Do you start to think, yeah, I did it. This is good?
You know what? My dad tells me all the time. He says, do you take time to just think about all the things you've done? And not only that, I'm big in the community too. I worked at a second chance for youth, teaching them culinary arts. I am big in my community also. So he's always like, do you just think about it? I've won all of these awards. And I tell people all the time, I'm still striving for more and more and more. So he's always like, are you ever just happy in a place? Are you ever just take a moment to be grateful for where you are? I'm like, yes, every moment, because I never conceived that I would be here. So that is the most amazing thing.
You have moved on from the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing now?
I do a lot of catering and pop-ups. I love to pop up. My thing is, I feel like Southern food is a great American food. It is the great American food. And it is my mission to make sure that everybody in these here United States get to try it at some point. So I travel all over doing pop-ups.
All over, like at various states?
Yeah, various states. Like I've been to DC doing pop-ups. I've been to, well, Texas is the South, but I've been to Texas, Arizona. I would love to get to like Wyoming and Colorado. I would love to get in the Northeast. So if you're out there listening in the Northeast and you want a great Southern pop-up, call me.
Well, what do I get? I come to your Southern pop-up. What are the dishes that you're introducing me to Southern cuisine through?
Well, we're going to start with the Southern basics to me, okay? So that's going to be deviled eggs, potato salad, mac and cheese. We're going to have some fried green tomatoes, maybe some pimento cheese, fried okra.
Oh, I will be right there. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Let me ask you another question. There's a lot of confusion here. Differentiate soul food from Southern food?
Of course. Southern food is eloquently put together. It's going to be more of your finer cuts. Like you'll have chicken breast over a chicken thigh. You will have more of the whiter meats than the darker meats. They thought those were lesser meats. So that's the kind of stuff you get. Soul food, you may have a ham hock versus a salted pork.
I don't know. It seems to me the soul food tastes better.
Soul food do taste better. Soul food does taste better.
I mean, I'll take the dark meat anytime. Come on.
Yeah, to me, soul food tastes better, but it's all comfort in Southern food because even the South was hit very hard during the Great Depression and they created some amazing dishes from that. I tell people like, I love a sawmill gravy, a white gravy with a whole bunch of sausage in it. Woo! Delicious. It's certain things like those items. A hot water cornbread that is a soul food item, but it pairs so well. Like I've used that as a vessel for I do like a Southern style Benedict and I'll make hot water cornbread with collard greens, a little bit of bacon and poached egg with hollandaise. And it is delicious.
Yeah.
And that is a definite blend from finer things to more humble things because really Southern cooking is about simplicity. They didn't have time to be in the kitchen for hours and hours and hours. A lot of times they had an opportunity to put a pot of something on the stove and they have to walk away from it because they have things that they got to do.
What do you think about Americans' relationship with food these days? We hear all this, you should eat this, you should eat that, you should eat better, but McDonald's ain't going out of business. What's your thought?
My thought process on that is that I feel like we need to get closer to the dirt. I feel like we've gotten so far away from it. The farming world is getting smaller and smaller by the day. It's not a lot of people who grow their own things. My son was amazed the other day because I got romaine in my window. I'm like, well, it grows back, so you should just grow it. Simple things that people could be able to provide for themselves. They rather just go to the store and get it or wherever the case. You're talking about GMO. You can just grow it. If you put it in the dirt, it will grow. Put some water on it. Everything that you need, it needs. You need food. You need water to survive and live. So do the plants. If everybody could just get back closer to the farm. Start finding your local farmers. Everything is distributed now except for the farm. You could go to the farm and you could get, corn whenever you want. You can go get tomatoes, all these different fruits and vegetables. It helps out your neighbor. It builds a community. It does so much more than just eat. So I think that as a nation, if we could get back to that, building up the small guy, that's what's going to be important about helping us build everything back up.
What do you see in the future for you?
Believe it or not, I'm not sure. I really don't know what the future holds for me. I'm excited to see and find out. I would love to have a TV show, to be honest.
You should have a TV show.
I really would like a TV show, and I really want it to be about, because I am very involved in farming still to this day because my family still farms almost 1,000 acres in Alabama. Where I'm from, that's still a very big part of how everybody moves about, lives their lives. I want other people to learn how to do it, they might can grow it, but then what do you do with it once you grow it? I want to be able to show people how you go from a garden, from a seed to a table and what that costs. It's very minimal. I make meals all the time for $5 at home. I'm like, everything, I do all this elaborate stuff at home. I don't. I like to keep it simple, but delicious.
Chef, you are an inspiration.
Thank you.
Your story is remarkable. Your passion is incredible. I am so glad that I got to meet you and we got to have this conversation. And I am convinced whatever you want to do, you'll do. So I'll look for you on TV.
Yeah, look for me. I'll be right around there. And hopefully somebody from the Northeast is gonna have a Southern experience.
Count on it. Chef, thank you again.
Thank you.
It's really been a pleasure.
It has. It was so nice to talk to you today.
Star Maye on Culinary Characters on Lock. I'm David Page, and I'll see you next time.